In the previous lecture, we have discussed motion of plasma charged particle in a uniform magnetic field, that is, in a region where only a uniform magnetic field was present and the electric field was zero. Actually, in that case, we have found that the plasma particle actually describes a circular orbit about a guiding center, and that guiding center was actually fixed. Now our aim is to discuss the motion of plasma particles in combined uniform electric and magnetic field. That is a region where along with the uniform magnetic field, electric field is also present. So in this condition, let us now consider an electric field is present along with the magnetic field, and in this condition actually the motion is a resultant motion of the charged particle, and this resultant motion is actually the sum of the two motions. First is as usual the circular Lamer gyration, and the second one is actually the drift of the guiding center. So this is the difference. When we consider no electric field, the guiding center is fixed, but if we will consider along with the uniform magnetic field an electric field is also present, then there will be a drift of the guiding center. So in this lecture we are going to discuss such a situation when there will be a drift of guiding center due to the presence of the uniform electric field along with the uniform magnetic field. So for the quantitative calculation, let us now consider that an electric field is present, and for simplicity we are considering this electric field lying in xz plane. As you can see in this figure, we have considered that the electric field E is lying in xz plane, and as usual the magnetic field B is along the z axis as we have considered in the previous lecture. So as the electric field is in xz plane, so its y component will be 0, and hence in terms of components the electric field can be expressed as E equal to EXI plus EZK. EY is here 0 because we have considered this electric field in xz plane. And since the magnetic field is uniform and it is directed along the positive z direction, so we have written here B is equal to BK. Now first of all we will write the equation of motion of the charged particle of plasma, and then we will actually find the nature of the motion of the particle. So write the equation of motion. So you know equation of motion is simply Newtonian equation of motion, that is force acting on the particle will be equated to mass multiplied by its acceleration. So the equation of motion of the particle, if we assume that the mass of the particle is m and its charge is q, then you know the force acting on the particle is simply the Lorentz force, and so the equation of motion will be what? This will be m into dv by dt. Here dv by dt is acceleration, and this will be equal to force acting on the particle. And since the force is simply Lorentz force, so what will be it? This will be Q into E plus V cross B. E into V cross B. Now write the expression for acceleration of the particle, that is dv by dt. So you can see this will be simply q over m. Now express all the vectors inside this square bracket in terms of its rectangular components. You know this vector E is equal to what? In accordance with our assumption, this is in xz plane, so this is EXI plus EZK and plus V cross B. Now you can write the expression for V in terms of its components as Vxi plus Vyj plus Vzk and cross B. Since B is Bk, so this will be Bk. So this can be written as Q over M into EXI plus EZK plus. Now let us take the cross product of each term for the vector V with this Bk. So you can see Vxi cross Bk. Since I cross k is minus j, so this will be simply equal to minus, so we have to write here minus. This will be minus I cross k minus j, so this will be minus here, and this is Vx into Bj. Again Vyj cross Bk. Since j cross k is I, so this will be plus Vyb as j cross k is I. So this is I. And you know k cross k is 0, so the last term will be in fact 0. So now let us arrange the term inside this square bracket. We will actually write the terms for I, j and k. So you can see EXI plus Vy Bj. So this can be written as Ex plus Vy into B I minus Vx into Bj plus Ezk plus Ezk. Now this dV by dt we have evaluated, and you can equate the x, y and z components of this vector dV by dt in LHS and in it RHS. So in a scalar form, this equation of motion will be actually splitted into 3 equations of motion, and what will be those equations of motion you can easily see. Therefore we can write dvx by dt. This is actually the x component of dv by dt, and you can see this will be equal to what? This is q over m into Ex plus Vy into B. Now as we know that the Lamarck frequency, which we have actually denoted by the symbol omega c, in the first lecture we have seen that this omega c is actually equal to mod of q into B over m, mod of q into B over m. And so from here you can see that this B will be so you can see here this is actually q by m into Ex plus qb by m into Vy. So here we can see that this Qb by m is present, and Qb by m will be equal to what? This will be actually equal to plus minus omega c, because you know that this Q may be plus or may be minus. So in accordance with the sign of the charge of plasma particle, this term Qb by m may be replaced by plus minus omega c. And so we can write the first equation of motion in a scalar form in this form. This dvx by dt can be written as qex by m plus minus omega c into Vy. This is actually the, let us say, equation 1. This is the first equation of motion in a scalar form. Now similarly, we can equate the y component of the vectors in LHS and RHS. You can see the y component in RHS is simply q over m into b into Vx with negative sign. So we can write dvy by dt. This is equal to minus qb by m into what? qb over m into Vx with negative sign. So this is Vx. Now again, you know this qb by m is equal to plus minus omega c, and here minus is already present. So we may write this as dvy by dt is equal to minus plus, because minus is present already here. This is minus plus omega c into Vx. This is second equation of motion in a scalar form. Now let us equate the z components of the vector in LHS and RHS. You can see the z component of the vector in RHS is what? This is q over m into Ez. Q by m into Ez. So we can write dvz by dt is equal to q over m into Ez. You can see this equation 3 was not present in the first lecture when we have actually considered that electric field is not present. So this is the difference between these two situations. Now let us integrate this equation 3 with respect to time. So integrating equation 3 with respect to t. When we will integrate it, what we will find? You can see it easily that this is integral of dvz, and this equal to qez over m integral of dt, because you know that the electric field is constant, so Ez has been taken outside of the integral, and so we can write this expression in this way. If we take the limit of time 0 to t, and if we consider that at 0 time the z component of velocity is vz naught, and at time t it is vz, then you can see in LHS there will be vz minus vz naught, and therefore we can write vz minus vz naught equal to QEZ over M into T. And so we may write Vz equal to QEZ over M into T plus Vz naught, and say this is equation 4. You can see there is a velocity Vz in z direction to the plasma particle. Now to find the nature of motion of the plasma particle, let us differentiate equation 2 and equation 3 with respect to time t. And you can see from this equation 2, when we will differentiate equation 2 with respect to time t, the expression will be d2 Vy by dt square, and that will be equal to minus plus omega c dvx by dt. So differentiating equation 2 with respect to t, what will be this? This will be d2 Vx by dt square, and that will be equal to minus, you can see here, this is minus plus omega c, minus plus omega c dvx by dt, dvx by dt. Now we will put the value of this dvx by dt here from equation 2, not 2 but from equation 1. Here dvx by dt is dvx by dt. Let us see here that this was actually the dvx by dvy by dt, and I have differentiated wrongly here. We have to actually differentiate dvy by dt. So let us differentiate equation 2, not equation 1. You can see from here that this equation 2 will be d2 Vy by dt square, d2 Vy by dt square. Sorry, we have to differentiate equation 1 actually. So differentiate equation 1 with respect to time t. So you can see from equation 1, when we will actually differentiate equation 1, this will be d2 Vx by dt square. So this will be d2 Vx by dt square. And now see the RHS. Actually this term Qex by m is constant independent of time. So when you will actually differentiate it with respect to t, the first term will be 0. And here omega c is constant, so Vy will be only differentiated. So this will be actually 0 plus minus omega c and dvy by dt, dvy by dt, dvy by dt. Now we will substitute the value of dvy by dt from this equation 2 here. So you can see this will be d2 Vx by dt square, and this equal to, since dvy by dt, you can see here, is minus plus omega c vx. So here we will get this as minus plus omega c square into Vx, omega c square into Vx. And we may write this equation in this manner. This is d2 Vx by dt square, d2 Vx by dt square, and this equal to this will be actually only minus here. After substituting the sign, this will be only minus. And so you can write this expression in this manner. This is d2 Vx by dt square and plus omega c square into Vx equal to 0. And say this is equation 5. You can see this equation is just identical as we have obtained the equation for the Lamer gyration in a previous lecture. So, but after some time we will discuss it. First of all, let us derive the second equation 2. Now actually we will differentiate this equation number 2, that is dvy by dt, with respect to t. So when you will differentiate this equation 2 with respect to t, what you will get? This will be d2 vy by dt square minus plus omega c dvx by dt. And then we will substitute the value of dvy by dt from equation 1. So now differentiate equation 2 with respect to t. So differentiating equation 2 with respect to t. This will be what? This will be d2 vy by dt square, and this is equal to minus plus, you can see equation 2 here, this is minus plus omega c dvx by dt. So minus plus omega c dvx by dt. Now we will substitute the value of dvx by dt from this equation 1. You can see here dvx by dt is defined, and this is qex by m and plus minus omega c vy. So we can substitute this value here. So this will be actually equal to minus plus omega c, and the value of dvx by dt, as we have seen in equation 1, this will be q over m into ex and plus minus omega c into vy. You can again see this equation number 1. This is qex by m plus minus omega c into vy. So we have substituted this value, and now you can see from here that this q over m, as we know that this qb by m is actually equal to plus minus omega c. So this q by m will be equal to what? This will be plus minus omega c by b. So we can write this as minus plus omega c into, and this q by m will be replaced by plus minus omega c by b. So this is plus minus omega c by b into Ex, and plus minus omega c into Vy. Now let us take this plus minus omega c as a common factor. Then our result will be actually equal to what? This will be minus omega c square into Ex over b plus Vy. So now you can see one thing here, that this term Ex over b plus Vy is actually time independent. So we can write this d2 by dt square Ex over b plus Vy. This will be actually equal to 0 plus d2 Vy by dt square. That is, this is simply d2 Vy by dt square. So in fact, at the place of d2 Vy by dt square, we can write d2 dt square Ex over b plus Vy, and therefore the above equation may be written in this manner. This is d2 dt square Ex over b plus Vy and plus omega c square into Ex over b plus Vy, and this equal to 0. What will be the equation number? Actually, this will be equation number 6. So now you can see that the two equations, that is equation 5 and equation 6, which we have just obtained here, these equations are simply equation of simple harmonic motion. And so actually these two equations represent the Lamarck gyration as in the previous lecture. So this has so this motion is actually not affected by the presence of the non-zero value of the electric field. So we can now write the solution of equation 5 and equation 6 as we have written in the first part of this lecture. So equations 5 and 6 represent SHM, and so their solutions are given as. Actually, these solutions I am writing here on the basis of the first part of this lecture. So these solutions of equation 5, the solution of equation 5 can be written as Vx equal to V perpendicular e to the power I omega ct, and that of the equation 6, solution of equation 6 can be written as Vy equal to plus minus I V perpendicular e to the power I omega ct and minus Ex by b. Actually here solution will be for Vy plus Ex by B. So I have just taken this term Ex by B in the right hand side. So these are actually the solutions of equations 5 and 6. And you can see the Lamer motion is actually same as in absence of the electric field, which we have discussed in the first part of this lecture. But along with this Lamer motion, there is a superimposed drift of the guiding center, and this guiding center actually is drifted with a constant velocity, and this constant velocity we will actually represent with the symbol VGC, and you can see this drifting will be in negative y direction, because you can see this Vy is now equal to this much. This first part actually represents the Lamer gyration, and this term minus Ex by B actually represent that with this velocity Ex by B, which actually represent the drift velocity of actually the guiding center. So we can see, so there is a Lamer gyration, that is the circular motion, Lamer gyration, along with the drift of the guiding center. In absence of electric field, actually guiding center was fixed, but now the guiding center is actually moving with a constant velocity. Drift of guiding center with velocity, if we will write this velocity as VGC, this is simply equal to Ex by B. This is the drift velocity of the guiding center with which it is actually moving in negative y direction. You can see, since the plasma particle may be either positively charged ion or negatively charged electron, both will actually drift in negative y direction, but there is only one difference, that the sense of rotation of both will be actually just opposite. So you can see from this figure, if we consider the positive ion of the plasma particle, its drifting will be like this. This is for ion, and here actually the magnetic field we have taken, which is directed along z direction. So this is B equal to Bk, and here the negatively charged electron, this is negatively charged electron, the sense of rotation, or you can say Lamer gyration, is just opposite in this case. So this is the difference. When electric field which we have considered in xz plane is present, then you can see the only difference is what? The only difference is that there is a shift of, or the drift of the guiding center with a constant velocity, which is actually equal to Ex by B in negative y direction. But when electric field was 0, then there was only Lamer gyration about a fixed gyration center. Now let us consider a special case, or you can say a specific situation. In this specific situation, actually we will consider a crossed electric and magnetic field. When you say that electric and magnetic field is crossed, What does it mean? It means the electric and magnetic field is perpendicular to one another. And in this condition, if we consider that the particle is projected, in fact perpendicular to both of the fields with such a velocity that the net force or net Lorentz force, you can say, on the particle is 0, then what will happen? We will actually discuss this situation. So now consider the crossed electric and magnetic field. When you say crossed electric and magnetic field, it means electric field E and B are mutually perpendicular to one another. And let the particle is projected such that net Lorentz force on it is 0. You consider this situation, and that is, in this condition you can see this Q into E plus V cross B is equal to 0. Actually, we consider this situation. In fact, you can see a very important result in this condition when we will consider such a situation. Now, let us take this expression, and from this expression you can see this will be simply E plus V cross B equal to 0, or we can write this as E is equal to minus V cross B, or you can write it as B cross V, because you know the cross product is not commutative, so minus V cross B can be written as B cross V. Now let us take the cross product of this equation with vector B. To get the result, we actually follow this algebra. So taking cross product, or you can say vector product, cross product with vector B. So when we will take the cross product, you can see the equation will be E cross B, and this will be actually equal to E cross B, and this will be actually equal to B cross V cross B, and we can write this in this manner. This is B cross V cross B. See here the algebra. Since we have actually just reversed the order of cross product, so this will be negative, and when we will also reverse the order of cross product B cross V, that will be also negative, so minus minus will become plus. So this expression B cross V cross B can be written as B cross V cross B. Now from the definition of the triple vector product, you may write this expression as V into B dot B and minus B into V dot B. Now, as I have told you earlier that we project the particle perpendicular to both of the fields. So, if we take V perpendicular to B and also perpendicular to E, it means these three vectors V, B and E are actually mutually perpendicular to one another. Then you can see in this condition, this product V dot B will be what? This will be 0 because V is perpendicular to B, we have assumed it. So this last term will vanish, and in this condition, you can write the above equation in this manner. This will be actually E cross B equal to V into B square, because this B dot B is equal to B square. And so from here we can find this velocity V. This V will be equal to E cross B over B square. E cross B over B square. And actually, since E and B are also perpendicular to one another, so this will be actually equal to what? This will be simply EB times a unit vector. Let us say this is n hat and over B square. In fact, in this condition, we define a velocity, a particular value of velocity, this V, which is actually due to the electric field drift of the guiding center. And the magnitude of this drift will be actually equal to E by B. One B will actually cancel from here. So you can see this V will be equal to what? This is simply equal to E by B. Actually, this is the drift velocity, and this drift velocity is also known as velocity selector. So since this drifting is due to electric field, so we say that this drift velocity is due to the electric field, and it is caused by the drifting of the guiding center. So it is denoted by the symbol VE, and VE will be actually equal to, in this condition, E by B. Actually, this expression has a enormous practical application. You will see in later lectures that there are so many applications of this particular velocity, which is actually the drift velocity of the guiding center, and this is actually due to the non-zero value of the electric field. So it is called electric field drift of the guiding center. This VE is actually electric field drift of the guiding center. So this is the difference. When electric field was 0, there was no drift of the guiding center. Guiding center was fixed, and about that fixed guiding center, actually the plasma particle were performing Lamarck gyration. But when we apply a constant electric field along with the magnetic field, then there is a drift of the guiding center, and if we consider that E and B are actually perpendicular to one another, and velocity which we have provided to the plasma particle is also perpendicular, in that condition it actually moves with a constant velocity E over B, which is called velocity selector or This is the drift velocity of the guiding center due to the presence of the electric field, and so it is called electric field drift. So this is all about in this lecture. We will see some new situation in another lecture.